Stocks continued to fall Thursday, even as Wednesday's selling frenzy eased up a bit. President Trump and the NFL are at it again. If you're heading out of town this weekend, you might want to get to the airport a little earlier than usual. Oktoberfest will continue every Saturday and Sunday for the rest of the month at Snowbird Resort. World Cup is kicking off on Thursday, and people all around the world are gathered in Russia. BYU students come together after a very difficult week on campus.
Newsline reporter Jasmine Harouni is at the Tanner Building, where a student took her life earlier this week. Jasmine, how are students coping?
An elementary school in Bountiful was on lockdown due to threats. The threats came yesterday from a woman who suffers from mental illness. The 33-year-old Aubrey Gabbett was arrested because she threatened Muir Elementary School around 10:30 a.m. Gabbett played loud music and honked her car's horn in the school parking lot. She was arrested on charges of stalking, threatening terrorism, phone harassment, and disrupting the school. Almost 2 years after his capture, El Chapo is now preparing for his trial on his crimes. A jury of 12 people was selected for his case just yesterday. Because of the violent history of El Chapo, all of the 12 jurors will remain anonymous. They will only be identified by a number. The groups include 5 men and 7 women, and an additional 6 alternatives. And the clock may have struck midnight for the Las Vegas Knights and their Cinderella season. In Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals, the Washington Capitals froze the Vegas defense on their way to a very convincing 6-2 win. The game was all but over by the end of the first period when the Capitals took a 3-0 lead.
They talked about putting their game out, and they did. And they didn't get anything out of it. We came out 3-0 after the first period.
The Golden Knights seemed to have a magnet to the post early in the game, narrowly missing 3 wide-open shots, making it nearly impossible to stay close with the Capitals. The Capitals now lead the series 3-1. Teams up 3-1 win the series 92% of the time. Game 5 will be played in Las Vegas on Thursday. We'll be right back. Self-driving cars are headed to Washington, D.C. Ford announced yesterday that the plan to begin testing early next year in the nation's capital. D.C. will prove to be a challenge for the vehicles since driving in cities is much more difficult than in the suburbs. Ford also plans a self-driving ride service in 2021. And more than $2 billion are up for grabs. Today's Mega Millions and tomorrow's Powerball jackpot combined are roughly $2.2 billion. The Mega Millions alone is at $1.6 billion, the largest prize in U.S. lottery history. But your chances of winning are very slim, 1 in about 302 million, which means you're more likely to get bitten by a shark or struck by lightning at the same time. The Mega Millions hasn't been won since July 24th, and if no one wins today, the prize will only get bigger. The NBA All-Defensive team is out, and Utah Jazz big man Rudy Gobert leads the team. Gobert received 94 out of 100 first-place votes, suggesting that he may now be the favorite to win the Defensive Player of the Year. During the season, he averaged 10.7 rebounds, 2.3 blocks, and forced opponents to shoot 10% lower than normal when being guarded close to the basket.
No, not going to happen. Not the talent. Division's too good. Gonzaga, St. Mary's too good. Not going to beat them.
All right, look, BYU this year, they have a lot of experience coming back, and they have 5 games against teams who made the NCAA tournament last year. Those are resume builders. All BYU has to do is win 25 games. I think they're in this year.
I agree. They work on that three-point game, and they're there.
Adam, they have a lot of experience this year, but they're missing their best player. Elijah Bryant isn't on the team anymore. It's going to be tough to make the tournament this year.
They have talent. Childs is good, and they have Emery back, but they're just not good enough to beat elite programs like Gonzaga and St. Mary's.
You see, I just look at the WCC conference, and outside of Gonzaga, I just don't see any teams that are talent-wise better than BYU.
The other big matchup quickly we've got to talk about is Washington plays Oregon in the Pac-12 in Eugene. Adam, we'll start with you again.
This is going to be a great game. This is a top 20 matchup. I do think, though, that Oregon is going to win. They had a 99.9% chance twice against Stanford. Weren't able to pull it off. They're not going to make those same mistakes. I think they're going to beat Washington in a high-scoring game.